You rockin' with Book Jamz. Grab your friends and your brother and sisters, cousins, all of the above. It's time for us to read this jam. Yeah, go on an adventure as more to some words and pretty little pictures. Learn a couple lessons, get some knowledge in your brain, and you have a little fun in this thing with Book Jamz.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Blaze Hunter.
And I'm Novi. Welcome to our second episode of the Book Jamz Podcast.
Yes, welcome, welcome. We appreciate you guys for coming in. We appreciate you guys who made episode 1 a success. Everyone who came into our Father's Day special, we appreciate you. Thank you for helping us honor all the fathers in the world and everyone who took advantage of the QR code to get their free copy of Dads around the world. We thank you guys way more than you know. And we're getting ready to go into our next book and our next special for Juneteenth Freedom. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad we're doing a second episode. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited, especially about this episode because I just feel like there definitely should be some appreciation of what Juneteenth freedom is and why people take it so seriously, why they celebrate it and appreciate it so much, because it's not so much about the pain and the agony and all the deep stuff. It's more about just an appreciation of being able to have freedoms. You know, our mother, the author of Book Jamz, Keisha Powell, she wrote this book. But instead of me telling you, I'm going to let her tell you what inspired her. So, Ma, take it away.
Growing up, I never learned about Juneteenth, not from home nor school. It wasn't until my mid-30s, after moving to Atlanta, that I truly discovered the meaning behind this powerful piece of Black history. And, you know, and having that late introduction left me wondering how different things could have been if I had learned about it as a child. And, you know, not just understanding the pain of it, but the power and pride behind freedom, resilience, and community. I question, you know, would it have made me push harder for success in my own life? I wrote Juneteenth Freedom so that children, especially those like me, can begin learning about this history early. And, you know, and it's not about blame or bitterness. My hope is that this book plants seeds of knowledge, compassion, and courage in young minds, and that it does spark, you know, conversations at home, in classrooms, and in communities, and that it help us all grow together.
So as you guys hear, extremely, extremely important to her, and as it should be for everyone. So Juneteenth commemorates June 19th, 1865, when Union troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to announce that enslaved people were free, marking the end of slavery in the state. Now, this date is significant because it represents the final official end of slavery in the U.S., although the 13th Amendment officially abolished slavery nationwide in December 1865.
I would like to bring to everybody's attention how crazy it must have been for slaves to hear they weren't even slaves anymore, because, you know, after years of brutal slavery, to finally realize it was truly over must have been just mind-blowing to them.
Yeah.
Stepping into freedom after generations of being in chains, it must have been hard to even imagine what it looked like or how it felt to wake up and know you were no longer somebody's property. There was probably a lot of joy and fear, but also hope, because nobody knew what would happen now that they weren't under somebody else's control.
Exactly.
After, it's like no amount of research or studying on how they felt could really bring you that feeling that they had back then. So I would just like everybody to take that into consideration of how crazy it must have been for them.
Exactly. Because even though they're already, it's a mind warp to know that, okay, now I'm free. I'm pretty sure there was PTSD of thinking, oh no, I don't have to go and do this. But the challenges didn't end there. There were so many challenges that they faced, even though they were free, like limited opportunities. Many were denied education and wages during slavery, so they don't have a lot of marketable skills, so they were only able to get maybe low paying jobs. So discrimination and violence, even though they weren't slaves anymore, the people that used to enslave them still felt the way that they felt about them, so they had to get over that, and that made it hard to find employment. They had black codes. Southern states passed black codes that restricted African American rights, including their ability to own property and work, and then vagrancy laws and contract labor. So the laws were intact to ensure former slaves returned to plantation work versus getting work that they maybe wanted to do. So there was a lot of things that they had to deal with, even though they were free. It wasn't easy.
Finding a home was also difficult for them because of poverty and lack of resources, discrimination and housing restrictions, rural poverty, and movement to northern cities. Because in the northern cities, there were more job opportunities, but they still faced discrimination and violence there.
Yeah, so there definitely were so many struggles, but again, our focus isn't so much on the struggles. We bring it up just so you guys could understand why the celebration is taken so serious. Like, they just loved it so much, which is why this book is so amazing. So we're getting ready to take a break. This is episode 2 of the Book Jamz Podcast. Juneteenth freedom, baby.
Juneteenth, 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 Juneteenth. What we want, what we need, what we got. Juneteenth. Realize, realize, it's our way. Realize, 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 it's our way.
Welcome back to the Book Jamz Podcast. This is episode 2, where we're talking about Juneteenth freedom, and another topic that I definitely feel like is important that we discuss why there were a point of African Americans who refused to celebrate the 4th of July over those years, because at that time they didn't celebrate because, the holiday commemorates the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which was in 1776. And at that time, enslaved people weren't included. So the concept of all men were created equal felt like a slap in the face, at that time. So, with that context, they just weren't in a place to where they felt they needed to participate in the 4th of July. So when you hear that type of thing, it's not so much of a place where it's like, oh, I hate the American traditions and things of that nature. It was just at that time, like, our people weren't included in it, so they felt celebrating it just didn't feel right. So just wanted to make sure that you guys had that proper context, because it is important to understand where we came from and the journey, and of course, again, the celebration of being able to now be able to be a part of all of these things, where today we live in a time where we can say, compared to way back then, all men and women are created equal.
Frederick Douglass says, "What to the slave is the 4th of July, delivered on July 5th, 1852. He stated, 'This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn.'"
So, like I was saying, that was just a feeling and how strong it was back then. Instead of celebrating the 4th of July, our people decided to celebrate Juneteenth, because Juneteenth really represented the freedom that, that we had finally had. So, it was just crazy times. And even through a feeling of celebration, knowing that we're free, there was the challenges of reacclimating into a world where you really weren't wanted in that world to begin with. So, it really was a work in progress to get all of us back to this place. We're going to get into a whole lot more, but y'all know we'll be right back. This is the Book Jamz Podcast.
Extra, extra, read all about it. We got big news, Book Jammers. Book Jamz Full Access Yearly Subscription is here. Let's go. For only $19.99 a year, Book Jammers can have full access to all Book Jamz ebooks. It's simple. Subscribe for $19.99. Get the special password. Enter password on the subscription page and enjoy all ebooks all year long. Subscribe today and enjoy the ride with your favorite Book Jam ebooks like Katie Eats a Lot, Mellow on the Jello, Milestones, and a whole lot more. Log on to mybookjams.com.
Welcome back to the Book Jamz Podcast. Now, I definitely want to talk about the fact that I celebrate both days. I choose to celebrate the 4th of July, and I also celebrate Juneteenth freedom. And the reason I say that is, like, instead of me being that kind of person who just have a bitterness of what was, that's not what is now. We are free. We're free, and for me, it's about honoring the ancestors. So even though when they said all men were created equal, maybe the world at that time didn't want to honor that, but that's what it was meant to be. That's what it was. So we fought hard to get to a place to where all men are created equal. And we're still, and truthfully, a lot of us are still fighting that to this day. So I celebrate both just to show and represent that our people, our kind, African Americans, we can be anything we want to be. We are equal. We are just as good. We can get the jobs we want. We can live out the dreams that we want to live. We could be happy. And I'll celebrate the 4th of July and the freedom of being in America, being here, because I'm free. And we all are free. And I love to just be a great representation of that. So that's why I celebrate both, to honor just what it is for our people, but to also to honor being free.
Yes.
So for you, knowing all the things that you've learned, especially since the making of the book, knowing the book, the research that you've done yourself, like, how do you feel now knowing the things you know, because you still choose to celebrate the 4th of July and Juneteenth, freedom. Right. So like, what's your mindset on celebrating both?
I feel like it's important for us to celebrate both because we have the ability to. We should be free to feel proud of the fact that we can celebrate both. I feel like both holidays are important for Black people to celebrate because it relates to us in a way. I feel like there's just so much history behind it, and us celebrating it just shows how far we've come.
Yes.
And so, I feel like it's good for us to just embrace the feeling of being able to celebrate both of these holidays and take pride in it.
I love it. I love it. Like, we're doing a podcast right now. We have the freedom to reach the masses, and we own Book Jamz. This is our company, is our brand, to be able to have the freedom to change lives, to educate. So, I'm excited about it. This has been great. Another episode in the books.
Yep.
You guys definitely visit mybookjams.com to purchase Juneteenth Freedom and any book of your choice. I am the one and only Blaze Hunter.
And I'm Novi.
And this is Book Jamz.
What a beautiful feeling to have freedom.